What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Social City Podcast, episode 14. I'm your host, Old School Omar. Here is my lovely, beautiful, strong wife at Aubi.
Oh, these made me. I feel like I got like
At Aubi.
at Aubi.
Aubi.
The original. I can
Sheree
thank my little
Foster.
sister for that because she hooked me up on Instagram before I knew that was like a cool thing. So I got my name.
It is one of the coolest Instagram
Got my
names.
name. Just saying.
On today's episode, we're going to be chatting about family matters. We got special guests, the McGee girls on today's show. We have the Sisters.
The
Sisters,
Sisters.
y'all. We're going to get into our classic obsession of the week and close out with some gratitude. But first, got to give a shout out to the sponsor, TriPoint Insurance, y'all. Today's episode is sponsored by TriPoint Insurance. TriPoint Insurance is a local insurance brokerage offering customized insurance solutions to their clients. They offer personalized auto, home, and renters insurance, as well as commercial and business insurance, business owner general liability policies, workers' compensation insurance, and commercial auto, to name a few.
Just a few.
Currently licensed in Nevada, California, Arizona, and Utah, Gabby has more than 14 years of financial services experience, which helps her offer a holistic approach. Her clients view her as more than just their insurance agency, but a resource. TriPoint offers white glove, concierge-style insurance services and prides themselves in being client-centric. We believe that insurance should be simple and customers should feel comfortable asking questions. There you have it.
Can I confess something?
Go ahead.
I know like nothing about insurance.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the perfect thing for my sister to be doing because we call her Google. I think I've mentioned this on an episode before, but we call my older sister Gabby Google because she's literally the walking human version of Google. And every time I've ever had to deal with like health insurance stuff, auto insurance stuff, she is your person. And it's almost that like old school insurance. I remember growing up going to my dad's insurance agent's office and always getting cookies. And it was like a personal relationship. And I think people have lost that.
Yeah.
And now Gabby she owns her own insurance agency and she's
Yeah.
offering all that. They're licensed in multiple states.
Yeah, I don't know much about insurance. It's
does?
always like, yeah, give me the cheapest, efficient insurance. I don't know what comprehension, collision, and bodily damage. Yeah, the lowest possible.
But whatever I need legally.
Yeah,
That's
for
always
sure.
the thing. Everyone knows they need insurance, but they don't actually understand what it is. So if you are in need of insurance of any kind, business or personal, TriPoint Insurance is where it's at.
And like Aubi said, Gabby's on the show today. We got Gabby and Allie. Say what's up to the people, y'all.
What's up? What's up?
What up?
What up, what up?
I'm so excited. My sisters are here.
I know. I'm excited too.
Yeah.
You guys are not new to us, but we're new to the podcast.
Yeah,
you know what we
very
gotta
new.
do? We gotta give everyone your name, something cool on the bucket list, and your favorite Disney classic movie. 3, 2, 1.
Gabby, go. You're older.
Action.
Oh, we're going in birth order?
Yeah, birth order.
It's a birth order. So, Gabby Casey.
Hi,
Hi,
Gabby.
Gabby.
Casey.
Hi, guys. Something cool on the bucket list. I would love to go to the land of our people. So, for me, that means I would love to check out Denmark.
Been there, so good.
I know you have.
You gotta go.
Greece.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I would also like to visit Ireland for my husband's side of the family.
For
So,
sure.
That's cool.
The
That's a good bucket list. I like that.
Favorite
Yeah.
Disney classic.
Favorite Disney classic, Beauty and the Beast.
The romantic.
She was not ashamed of being different
and smart.
and smart.
Google.
And she embraced it before I did.
That's right. I love it. She
That's
led
right.
the way.
I legit had like an epiphany thinking about this the other night. I was like, what is my favorite Disney classic? I think I've just like defaulted to Sleeping Beauty for so long because
I thought you were going to choose Cinderella.
did you? No.
Oh,
Nah. No.
That's a good one, though. That's a good realization.
Belle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Belle. I like that one too. Allie. Oh, sorry.
My
You gave her
name
name
is-
away.
I gave it away.
My name is Allie Masick.
Hi,
Hi,
Allie.
Allie.
Hi. Is it what my favorite? Oh, my bucket list?
Something cool on
Yeah.
your bucket list.
Well, I was going to think go back to Europe. So mine still go back to Europe.
Anywhere in particular you want to hit?
We want to go to Greece. We tried to go to Greece the first time, but they were like on strike and everything was really expensive.
Yeah.
So we want to go there. We want to go to Italy.
Mhm.
And then we really want to go to Iceland.
Oh,
You
there
can see
you
the
go.
Northern Lights. So yeah, that's our goal.
I dig it. Favorite
Yep.
Disney classic?
I thought about this. For the longest time, I've said Lion King, but it's really not true. I love Oliver and Company.
Oh, wow.
That's an
Yeah.
old
That's
school
classic.
one.
I don't think I've ever watched that one
Oh
all the way
man,
through.
good movie.
It's
Yeah.
really
It's a
good.
good one.
I
Yeah.
dig it. I dig it.
I love that.
So before we get into today's discussion, y'all know what we like to do. We like to play a little game.
That's right. Little
We've-
icebreaker.
We brought back Who's Most Likely to to the episode with the sisters.
The sister
I have not
edition.
looked at these, guys.
I haven't. Yeah,
Right? I have not.
I don't believe
I don't know.
it.
I'm taking.
Well, that one
story.
episode, it was like all Aubi.
I know.
I'm
I told him I thought
I
I
will
was
take
rigged.
a couple cars and put them to the back. We don't even know what's coming up. So
Okay, here we
let's
go.
hope for these to be good. Who's most likely to can't help but speak without thinking?
Aubi.
Oh, wow.
That's the podcast and the editing power of my husband.
Holy moly.
I
That's
would
a good
agree
one.
with that, though.
Yeah, all right.
I'm not mad. I mean, sorry about
We
it.
talked about this the other day. Like, you don't keep lies because it's too stressful.
Yeah.
So speak your mind.
That's right.
Don't be sorry.
You do
That's
you.
who you are.
You do you, boo. Question number 2. Who's most likely to would live at home if they could?
I feel like it's Gabby or
Yeah, I was gonna say
homebody?
one of you guys.
I think mostly Gabby.
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
agree.
also a homebody.
Somebody?
I
Yeah.
say Gabby.
Well, and I have my husband that helps drive that too. Yeah. So
2
Yeah.
homebodies.
Yeah.
we
They're
got
like,
two
we just
homebodies.
gonna chill right here today.
I mean,
I do get stir
I'm
crazy
out.
at home.
I'm out talking to people all the time. I'm networking. I need
But you've
that.
always been a little bit of a homebody. Gabby's, I think, always would prefer like a night in watching a movie and stuff
Yes.
versus like a night out. And
Look at her
growing up,
DVD
I
collection.
dude. I
still
mean, I
have
don't
it.
know. I don't know if anyone still has DVD players, but my sister does, and
I
it's
sure do.
quite impressive. She's like the new Red Box. Like if you ever needed to rent a DVD,
She
you
could
could-
Airbnb your house. 'Cause they
is
always have
true.
DVDs in the cabins.
totally. That's hilarious.
All right, we got 2 more. We'll go 2 more questions here. Who's most likely to knows a little too much about Disney movies?
Gabby.
We knew that was coming. We
Google.
got Google on
Google.
the show, so she's gonna know everything about anything.
There you go.
However
Yeah.
wanna say it.
A little
All right, here
bit
we go.
about everything.
Last one. Who's most likely to uses LOL/OMG when speaking?
Allie.
Yeah, for sure. That is Allie.
OMG.
Speak in
Sure.
text. I speak in text.
Yeah. I
I
like
wish
that.
I could
Who's most
acronym
likely to?
these.
That's a good game.
I love
especially
that.
with the family and the sisters on
Look,
today's
Aubi,
episode.
you only got one.
I know.
You only got one.
It wasn't
Aubi,
rigged
look,
against
look.
me.
It
We get
wasn't
to
rigged
share the
against
love now that family's on.
So last season, we were stoked to introduce you all to our parents, where we got a chance to share a little behind the host insights to the people that shaped us into who we are today. While Aubi and I come from super different backgrounds and how we were raised, we both deeply value relationships and are always seeking ways to form deeper connections, more honest communication, and closeness with the people we love, from our socialites to our families. So today, we're going to dive into talking about how my wife and our 2 sisters have managed to remain close throughout the seasons of their lives, and some practical tips that help them maintain not just a relationship, but a true friendship that I admire. Because if you have met the McGee girls, they're all different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all different in your own way. You're just like,
Very.
you guys are sisters?
Super.
But I guess siblings are like that. Because you should say that about me and my siblings. Like, everyone's
It'd
different.
be weird
you
if
know?
we were all the same.
Yeah, I guess it would be.
But you
feel
do
like you've
you
become from
do
the same
meet some families though where it's kind of like not a carbon copy then that there's difference, but I think the way that we're all different
Yeah.
and being females, that could either lend one or two ways. You're either going to be really
Yeah.
close or not at all.
Totally.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, the age gaps in
And
my
our
family
opinions.
is I've got my sister Tavera's 5 years, and then my sister Ariel 7 years apart, and then my brother's 10 years. So some gaps there. But you and Gabby were 17
Months.
months.
Do
17
the math
months
on that.
apart.
I don't think I was
You
planned.
weren't the planned kid.
all the parents are doing the math on that. It's like 17 months. So Gabby was
That was
about
a
seven,
whoops.
8 months. And I remember when I did the math on that, I asked my dad, and his response, I'll never forget, was, Aubi, sometimes life's greatest surprises are blessings. I was like, so I wasn't planned.
So I wasn't
Total
planned.
middle child.
And then Allie is what, 3.5?
So Omar and I were laughing about this when we were talking about age gaps
Yeah.
because he's like, why's it got to be 3.5? Why can't it be 4? Or like, is it 4 or is it 3? And I was like, it's 3.5. And he's like, why are you guys so specific? I was like, I don't know. That's
Specific
just
is terrific.
specific. There you go, Google.
But like, no one's gonna know. They're gonna be like, "Oh, it's 3.5, and it's not 3."
I know,
or
but it's
4.
so funny because I was thinking about it. And I was like, I don't know. We've just always said, Gabby and I are, it's very specific.
Yeah,
17 months.
months.
I was like, so it just wouldn't feel right to say just 3 years. It's 3.5.
I don't know.
Well, and
Something.
if you say 4,
It's
right?
rounding up.
And then, or if somebody does
just
the
like
math,
being
it doesn't add up.
accurate.
I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
That's right.
He was laughing at me.
I'm
We were
like, you
dying
guys have
last
done it
night.
for so long. They're like, you guys don't know any different. It's three
I
and a
mean,
half years.
Who do we get that from?
Yeah,
though?
I know. I get
I
it.
mean, you
Hard
know
to
where we
get.
get it
Yeah,
from.
it's the McGee trait. And then you guys got
Exactly.
Tyler and Trevor, who are 9 and 12 years
Yeah,
apart.
9 and 12.
Yeah. So, I mean, we love our families deeply, but the dynamics couldn't be more opposite. My family, we're very independent, operate completely on our own. We don't have like regular communication. We don't talk on the phone all the time. Like you guys talk on the phone like a couple
You
times
don't
a
have
day.
a group thread?
I know. We don't have a family thread.
That you chat in like
We have
every
like
day.
five.
I guess I could start it on Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah.
We have
All right, see?
Instagram. We have a
It's
group
ridiculous.
I get
friends.
inspired on my own podcast. You know what I'm saying? I need to talk to my mom
You're
more
welcome,
on the
Omar.
daily.
That's
Thank
right.
you to Nessa and Marion. And I need a family chat.
That's
All
right.
Family. You guys hear that? Tavera, somebody start the family chat. All right. we don't have the traditions that you guys have like outside of Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
But when we're together, it's like no time has passed and there's so much love whenever we do get together. It's
I
like
really
we never
admire
skip
that
a missed a
about
beat.
the siblings in your family. It doesn't matter how much time it's been between seeing each other, speaking to each other. There's always this level of comfort between all of you. And it's literally like you saw each other yesterday. And I think that's super special.
Yeah, we just keep roasting each other, as
Yeah.
you said last time.
Literally. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And then there's the McGee sisters. I've personally never met sisters who talk, connect, and get together more than them. It tripped me out at first. I was like, dude, we're going to your parents' house again?
Yeah.
Like, we were just there last week for...
We saw your dad last weekend. We talked to who are you on the phone with? Your sisters again?
Yeah.
Didn't you talk to them yesterday? Yeah, but today happened and I need to update them.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
You know when they say you marry your person, you marry their family, and I can attest to this having been one of the lucky ones to marry a McGee sister. They are truly more than family, and they're all best friends. And if you know them, you can attest that they all have their own level of spice, which could have created distance between them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're gonna dive into today's discussion. Would you consider you guys all different?
Oh, that very
1,000%.
1,000%.
Who do you think is the most alike out of the three?
you and Al.
Probably.
Yeah, for sure. But Gabby and I were the closest growing up, just I think
Yep.
because of the age, and she let me bully
Aubi
her quite a
hated me
bit. I did
growing
not
up.
hate
Just wanted
you.
to throw that out there on the podcast.
This is so mean. I did not.
we were
hate her.
misunderstood.
I mean, think about
misunderstood
this.
each
I
other.
was a senior in high school, and Allie was a freshman. So if you have high schoolers, like think about
and
that
we were
age
forced
gap.
to share a room.
Yeah.
Aubi
When I-
divided our room one time.
And Allie was on the side
With
without
tape?
the door, and I was like,
no,
"See,
I was on
you."
the side with the door.
Oh, that's right. Didn't I tape it like where I
yeah,
could actually
you
walk
did.
out?
Sure did.
Masking tape.
I had to share a room with both my sisters, and they both were subjected to. My dad had a rule: if you slam the door comes off, and they both got to experience no privacy thanks to my my unbridled temper.
Yeah. And I made
Temper?
sure to point
She's
it out
temper?
that my bed was on the side that was exposed. Aubi was like tucked up against the wall so nobody could see.
Oh man, totally.
That's funny.
Hilarious.
That's so cool. I'm so stoked to have you guys on because I've had like a front row seat to the evolution of sisters throughout the seasons of me first meeting you.
We were
And then
roommates.
have-
I was roommates with both of them too when we
Yeah.
were dating. So
Yeah.
you got to see like what it was like with us living with each other, where it's like the love hate,
and then
borrow, steal,
and then our whole
things.
history because we went to the same high school. Gabby
Right.
and I were the same grade, so we go back to whatever that was, 2000,
Earlier.
99.
99.
Yeah, you know,
Oh my
someone do the
gosh.
math on that. 25 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
Long time.
crazy.
And
Many
like,
moons.
we're downtown shooting at the studio where LVA is like a couple
Right
blocks
up the
away.
corner.
And then when I met Aubi, we were like friends via MySpace, you know?
Oh my.
For all the young kids who don't know what MySpace is, it was dope because you had a top 8.
That's right, dude. That's how
And
savage
music.
millennials
And
You
were.
had
music.
like theme music on your
You could design
profile.
your
I'm mad at
profile.
you. You're now out of the top
You're
8.
out of the
They're
top
out.
8. Did you see that Aubi took me off her top 8? Can't believe it. So anyways, we were friends on MySpace and then that switched over into Facebook. I went Air Force right out of high school and then moved back in 2010 and you had posted I lost my
Lost my
phone.
phone.
I got a new number. Send me your contacts.
And then Owen and I
was
hung
like,
out,
Aubi
and
was
then
hot.
this is how. Thank you. This is Google. I was so excited that we hung out, and literally the next morning, I'm like, Gabby, you are never gonna guess who I hung out with last night. She's like, Omar from high school. I was like, okay, Spock. Like, what are you? What?
That radar.
She
Literally.
knew. It was like
I
the
heard the
infliction.
voice.
Yeah, totally.
I heard the voice.
You will
Like,
That is a
never
McGee
guess.
quality.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Tone
I'll
infliction.
never guess. Yeah.
All about tone infliction.
So anyways, there's history here. So I'm cool. It's cool. It's cool to be here. I love
And
it.
Allie is actually still in your phone as Allie Fit. So when O started doing personal training,
is.
everyone had it was their name and then Fit.
Fit.
That's how I knew they were like
Wow.
in this circle.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
It is.
And so it's like he's never changed it for the nostalgia. And Allie's like my little mini Hulk. Like when I was training Allie shoot deadlift, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes,
She's
this
strong.
is it. She's
Yeah.
super strong. She also moved furniture independently as a
I did.
child.
Yeah.
Sure
Gabby,
did, still
Gabby
do.
not so much, but we're like, Dad, come help us. Like now. And if he didn't, it's like, okay, like just moving things on
Muscle
their
the
own.
whole couch upstairs by yourself.
Literally,
That
she
used to
still
make me
does
so
that.
upset. And now I'm not surprised by it. Anyways, was there a period of time where you guys weren't close?
I don't think Aubi and I were close as kids.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think part of it is the age gap. I do think like 3.5 So we're clear. 3.5 is like a
It's
kind of a,
gap?
it's like kind of a wonky gap
Okay.
where like she's like, I felt like you were like considered older and I was still considered the baby.
Yep.
And then like Gabby was always been very motherly to me.
No.
Yeah. So I would say like you guys were really close when we were kids and I was kind of just like solo.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens when you're like the baby of the family.
For sure.
And then I think as we got older, I think we started getting close. Gabby and I started getting
Yeah.
close first.
I was in sales, so I could call.
Yeah, Gabby
While
took
you
me
were
to
at-
sushi
Yeah.
for the first time. It's awesome. But Gabby and I would get close. And then I think once I got out of like my teens, Aubi and I
When
started
we became
becoming
roommates,
close.
I think is when
Yeah.
it really changed. Allie and I, right after we started dating Allie and
And
Gabby
we
and I
started
had
working
been
for
living.
Red Bull.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Because I got free Red Bull.
That part too. We always took care of. But then we became roommates. And I think that's like when we really started like an adult relationship. Because I think there's a misconception that you can have if you are close as kids, that closeness is going to stay. And it doesn't. You have to work at it just like any other relationship. And I think it was at that point that I realized it because I had recognized that we hadn't been as close as I wanted to. And then the opportunity to live with each other came up. And I remember being excited, like a little nervous because we were a little fire
Oil
and
and water a
ice.
little
Yeah,
bit.
literally, totally. And then getting a chance to like connect as adults and like realize that we
There was
actually
lots of bonding in that.
Yes. What do we do with the butter knife?
We had to cut. We didn't have like an actual knife, so our first night cooking dinner, we were cutting chicken with like scissors and a butter knife. I
That's
have a photo
hilarious.
of it.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I do think we bonded like during that time.
Yeah.
and then I think it's kind of just remained. Even when Gabby moved to Reno for like,
I
was it a
did.
year?
Almost 2.
Yeah, she'd moved. That actually bonded Gabby and I a lot. She would come down and like I would really look forward to her coming down. We'd always like
I
hang
drove
out and
down
stuff.
every month.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's a
commitment.
long
Haul,
drive.
too.
look at that, guys.
Uh-huh.
That's how you know we're close.
That's
Commitment.
right.
Who does that?
Who does that? What do you guys think the common bond between you all is?
Besides trauma?
I was gonna say we do have a trauma bond.
No.
I
yes,
don't know.
but-
I think we witnessed our grandma on my dad's side. We witnessed her being close with most of her sisters, and like she literally lived next door to one of her sisters for decades. I think, right?
Yeah. Because in Vegas and then they moved
Yeah,
to
she
Utah
moved there
and bought
in
And
the
I
houses.
think we saw that, and I think that maybe played into us being close. I think
Oh, that's cool.
like we played together,
Yeah.
like as kids. I don't know.
Well,
What do you
and
guys
mom was close with her sisters,
Yeah.
but in a different way. And even though there was distance
Yeah,
between her and her older sister,
Because what was the age gap between them?
oh,
12 years?
I mean, it's
it's a big gap.
it's
Yeah.
a big gap.
Ooh, Google didn't know.
Like, no,
Mark
I
it in the
didn't.
calendar.
Hey, today's date. But yeah, I think like there was such an effort made, and Mom and Leanne were so close to each other
Yeah.
that, and there was a big age gap there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So when you factor that in on both sides of the family to have like
Yeah.
good examples of women
Yeah.
where they stay connected. And I think also Dad always used to talk
That's what I was going to
about
say.
the fact that, yeah, women are the ones that drive
connect the
relationship
family.
and
Basically, it's
connection.
instilled in us, Omar.
Yeah.
You know,
It is
much.
women.
Ingrained in us,
But like
ingrained in
where you
us.
guys are now in your life, what would you say like the common bond between you three is?
Oh.
Well, we were pregnant all together.
Yeah.
For sure. That's
Which
a
I
wild
think
This
time.
is
bonded
a
us
crazy
really well.
story. So I was the first one to get pregnant in the family with Uriah. And then I'll never forget, Allie had come back from vacation and said she had something for Uriah. And he walked out and walked back in and was wearing a big cousin
Oh, I forgot
t-shirt.
about that.
And so then she was pregnant. And then shortly after that, I was pregnant with Selah. And then we were like, oh my gosh, like what are the chances? And then literally not even a month later, Gabby got pregnant with Liam. And so we got to share pregnancy together. And then we have our kids are pretty much like 6 weeks apart each
Yep.
direction. So we call the cousins, we call kind of like the triplet. So
Yep.
being in the season of motherhood,
Trace Amigos.
the Trace Amigos, absolutely. I think that's brought such a sense of grace for one another because when you go through motherhood, if you know, especially the newborn phase, it's so overwhelming. It's so new and it's such an evolution of who you are as a person. And it stretches you in a way you've never been stretched. And knowing that there are people that are in it with you makes you feel seen. And it's nothing against the husbands and the dads. It's a different thing.
Yeah, I
I
get
think
it.
being a new mom and
Yep.
being able to share that with them was so special.
Yeah,
and like I
bet.
said, my dad always was so big on you will have friends that come and go. He
Yep.
told this to me all the time because I was the social one that was always out. My friends were everything.
Yes,
at the
they
time,
were.
Right? There's that cross eye you talked about. I always tend to cross my eyes on the podcast.
I said in the last episode, she does that at least once or twice for sure.
Oh, anyways, my dad always
Make it a
said
gif.
that to me. He'd always say, I know that you love your friends, and I'm not trying to deter you from having good friendships, but you need to recognize that your sisters will always be there for you, but you have to work at it. And he said it over and over again. And I think motherhood really showed me how much I needed them. I'd gone through motherhood solo with Uriah, and the difference and getting to share that with you guys made it so enjoyable and made it special to be able to be like, man, what phase are they in, and giving advice and tips and tricks and things that you discovered that worked for your kids that I didn't even know. That was such a cool experience to like raise babies together. It's been awesome.
Well, and I think for me, I always knew, just because I had like a lot of ups and downs in friendships with other people all throughout
I almost
school.
fought a lot of your friends.
Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day, actually. And
How,
I was
like,
like,
we should
what
make
if
a
I was
list?
a cop now? Like, I mean, I wonder how he feels. Like,
I mean,
that
I wouldn't
he
pop off like that anymore.
Was a little
I've been healed.
scared.
He's gonna go back, dish out some charges for you.
Battery.
Yeah.
He does our side of town. He's in Spring Valley, so
Good to know.
watch
There you
it.
go. Good to know.
Anyways, so I mean, for me, I knew that they were built in, and I knew that I could have them always. So when it came even time for me to get married, I knew that I didn't want anybody else really. The only reason I had, and I love all my bridesmaids, but the only reason that I had additional bridesmaids was because my husband wanted a certain amount of men in his line. So then it was like I had to put them in. I only wanted my sisters
I gotcha.
because
We're your
They're
people.
gonna be there.
We're
Exactly.
your people, as Grandma would
That's what
say.
you hear us say is we got people. There are people.
That's
there
from
are
Graham
people,
Cracker.
honey.
Yeah, I feel you guys
Honey.
on that. So you guys have a ton of traditions that you guys do. Never met people who have more traditions than you guys.
Tradition.
What are some of your guys' favorite traditions, old or new?
I think the 4th of July one is really
Yes,
fun. Like
I love
that
4th of
wasn't.
July.
Yeah,
Thank you
that,
for hosting that. 4th
you
of
know
July is
what?
always
You're
fun.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing the scary
Yeah,
fireworks.
the scary fireworks. They are scary.
Thanks for not
I don't
catching
like
my
that.
neighbor's
Yeah.
tree on fire.
The insurance agent.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I know they're stressful.
But that's been really fun. That's like a new one. I feel like that's been created
Yeah,
ever
for
since I think
sure.
we had kids.
yeah.
Even like when you guys had Uriah, because we hosted you guys over.
Yeah.
And Uriah was terrified of those fireworks.
Yeah, he was.
But that's really fun. I think. Do we do Easter together?
Mhm. We do
Eggs.
We do
Eggs.
egg dyeing.
Yes.
Like dying.
I love our cookie decorating.
Yeah.
My favorite, especially with the little kids.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite.
Love it.
cookie
but-
decorating.
Yeah. Because I used to do that with you guys all the time.
Yeah.
And then
Cookie
like
decorating for which?
Christmas.
for Christmas.
For Christmas, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And you know what's really special, I think, is, I mean, I've touched on this on some of the other episodes about our history. We had a wonderful mom, but she suffered from addiction, and that sometimes can cloud, the hurtful memories sometimes can cloud some of the memories, because as her addiction kind of progressed, holidays would always be that like, oh, you didn't know how it was going
Yes.
to go. And something that's been so special and healing for me is having our children and getting to pull forward all of the beautiful things that we grew up with and the things that make us feel connected to her, and the healing that has come through that, and then getting to share it with one another. Because we didn't do cookies until we had kids. We didn't do the 4th of July. We always got together and we've always talked, but it showed the value of legacy of tradition in our family, or even candy making. Our grandma used to do candy making at Christmas, and we shared that with her. And while we might not do it every year, it's this thing that always brings us back to this nostalgia of when we were little, and almost that the purest joy that you experience as a kid, and then to get to see the joy in our kids and our niece and nephew.
Yeah.
That's like magic. And I think sometimes in today's culture, I don't think that tradition is valued the same, just because the nature of families splitting apart and the busyness and the distractions that we have. And it's something I value so deeply with our family, that it's something we all make an effort towards progressing forward or bringing new traditions in or whatnot.
well, and I think if you notice too, like one of the things that ends up happening in those moments, because I feel like I know a lot of people that get together, but when they get together and you watch them, they're all on their phones.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that is like one thing that I notice
busy to be on our
about,
phone.
yeah, we're chasing littles. Like
Yeah.
that's just,
A kitty
there's too
car.
much going on.
Yeah.
Like, but
That's so
it
true,
gives
though.
us that time to connect, as opposed to you look at people when they sit down to eat in a restaurant and they have their phone up to their face and they're not talking with one another.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen at our house. I won't, or at anybody's house. I won't look at my phone that entire time.
And it's easy too. I think that's the part
Exactly.
that's different, is like for us now with where we're at relationship wise, like I enjoy our time together so much as a family that it's easy to put my phone away. And like if I stop by one of their houses, I'll tell him, we're like, I'm just dropping something off.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then like
it's never just dropped.
4 hours later, he's like, well, I knew what happened.
Yeah, well, like you said, you got little kiddos running around, so you can't really have a phone in your hand because one kid is up the stairs about to fall off the balcony, and the other is
I think it's so important to emphasize like the intention because
I get it. Yeah,
I mean, considering like we're raising babies together, and moms can attest to this. Moms in general can either be like the most supportive group ever, or they can be cutthroat and judgmental. And maybe like we all raise our kids different. While we share a lot of values, we all raise our kids different, and the dynamic is different. And especially if they're at the same age, like you're not always going to agree with everything. And the amount of grace and acceptance and love and support that we've seen amongst each other, and then also having to have like hard conversations when those happen, because things are different or what the expectation is. And I think it's stretched us and grown us, but it also could have been the thing that so easily tore us
Dad
apart.
loves to remind us of that.
Yeah.
He's always like, everyone parents differently, and
I know.
you gotta be okay with it. That's what can divide you. And long after I'm gone, I hope that you guys remain
Don't you
close.
get that now though, having two kids?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wouldn't it be devastating at the thought? Like I pray every day, because especially having a boy and girl, like Allie has a boy and girl as well. Gabby has 2 boys, where it's like, man, like I don't know a lot of brother and sisters that are so close.
Yeah.
So
only in movies.
Yeah, right. But it's like it's such an effort then, because I know the value that I've gotten out of being close to my siblings and having that support, because they're the people that truly know you. And while you grew up in the same house and the experience might have been very different, they understand and have seen you in a space and time that most people never get to experience, and it's so special. And I think sometimes we don't value it enough, but you have to work at it. It's like any relationship.
All right. Can you guys talk about the lion, beaver, otter, retriever test? What it is.
Gosh.
The
and
personality test.
Yes.
The personality test.
I can't remember what it's
it is.
officially called, but we're going to link this in the show notes, because this is, I think, such a valuable nugget for people to deploy if you feel like you don't understand your siblings. Who wants to
Dad and Shame originally took this test. They were doing like premarital counseling, and it helps you basically understand your partner and their personality type. So there's what? There's four.
There's 4.
There's 4 like main.
And it's the animal test.
Manimal.
There's
There's 4 main like animals that you could be, and then there's like sub animals, correct?
No, it's not that it's sub animals. It's that you have a primary and a secondary.
That's what it is.
And there's 2 that are opposing.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
here we go. Google.
Take it away.
Take it away.
Well, first of all, let me just tell this story. So when this first happened, I get a phone call. I'm sitting in the guardhouse at the Ritz-Carlton right after Dad and Shame took this test.
Yeah.
And in typical like Mark McGee fashion, I get a Gab, what are you doing right now? Like, well, I'm on my break. He's like, okay, perfect. Can you do me a favor? It's going to take you like maybe 5 minutes. I'm going to send you something. I want you to take it.
Because we think we know what you are.
1,000%.
Totally.
1,000%. I already know. I mean, we know.
But
know
we just want to affirm that I'm right.
Like, can you just take, and you have to answer it like you're a little kid. So you have to think about you at your core. So
don't overthink.
Enter the animals. At least for me, that was, and I think I might have been.
I feel like they probably do that to everybody.
Maybe.
They're like, we know what you are.
Oh, we still do. I mean, let's be honest, we still do. So the first animal is the lion. And that in other tests, like there's so many of them out there. There's the color code test and the disc test and the Brigg-Myers and all of those. But basically the lion is also like the dominant driver. Then you have
the leader.
leader.
I always describe it, if you're a lion, if you have a group project, they're the first person to say, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
They're very comfortable taking charge and in that leadership position, and don't have a hard time sharing their opinion. Can't imagine what I am.
Got it.
Right. Or Allie.
The
or
other
Dad.
animals.
So then the next one is the otter. So that is like your expressive personality types. So
Shiny
you're
object syndrome.
someone who has shiny object syndrome. So they're in the middle of a project and they get a phone call and it's like somebody invites them to go and they're out. They don't have to finish what it is that they're doing. They're ready to go at the drop of a dime.
And they're fun and playful. If
They
you
are,
ever
yeah.
watched
It's like
Otters.
They're fun,
I
playful.
was like, let's add that in.
They're very social.
Yeah.
So there might be a little social city action.
Just saying, there's
going
lots of
on.
otters at the gym.
Lots of otters.
Wait,
at
so
the
you're
gym.
like a lion otter?
I'm lion otter.
Okay.
Yes. Then you have the Beaver. So the Beaver is your analytical personality. They like
Precision.
things done a certain way.
regimented.
They're going to build their dam a very specific way, and that's the way that it needs to be done. There's a right and a wrong way to do.
There's no
I'm like
gray
looking.
area.
I'm like, wait, who's the beaver? Okay.
Come on,
Got it.
yeah.
Okay.
And
me.
Allie's
Yeah.
definitely.
You're a secondary beaver.
I think so. I think I'm
Yeah.
more lion than I am beaver.
Got it.
And then the last one is the golden retriever. So that is your people pleaser. That's the person that you just think about a dog trying to keep everybody
Who's that,
happy.
Omar? Who's that?
Wagging
I
their
mean, like,
tails.
I would probably put Gabby first as a golden retriever,
1,000%.
and then you would be second, and then Allie's like,
I'm not a golden
she's
retriever.
like, I'm
so
out.
you got a little bit
yeah.
of all of it.
Got it, got it.
It's like the love languages. Everyone
yeah.
has the 5 love languages, and you always have a primary and a
Yeah,
secondary.
for sure.
So we did this test as a family, and then we were blending our families at the time, like
Oh,
they
man,
mentioned,
so
because
helpful.
Chamie and Dad had gotten together, and again, the age gap between just myself and the brothers is 9 and 12 years. So
Yeah.
we're way ahead of them in experience in life,
Yeah.
and that was a whole new introduction. We never lived with
We never lived with boys.
So that was the whole thing. And then what happened is after we took that test, and to this day, almost like decade and a half later, we all refer to each other as the animal, and it gave you some empathy and understanding. So our little brother Trevor is a beaver,
Yes.
hardcore beaver,
Hardcore.
And so I remember I'm just graduated college, like sleeping in because I finally could, and I had to take him to school one time. The school is a stone throw away from the house. Like, I mean, you could sprint there in like, I don't know, 5 minutes, or at least that's what it seemed like. But he liked to get there 15 minutes early.
Yep.
And I remember we pulled in at like 18, or like it was like 13 minutes or 12 minutes. It was so incremental, and I could feel
Yep.
the stress pouring out of him. And I'm an
stressed
otter.
out.
I'm like, you're good, bro. Like
poor
5
Trev.
minutes late, you on time. It's all fine.
Yeah.
And he was so stressed out. And I remember being like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then once I realized he was a beaver, I was like, oh, that's why
for
he is
sure.
that way. Or my dad is very
Oh
beaver
my
like.
goodness.
Here, let me show you how to do that. AKA, I'm going to do it for you.
He invited
push
me
you
over,
out of the way.
He invited me over to make jam. He wanted to show me how to make jam, and it was more so, here, watch me, because I'd be like, here, I'll do it. He's like, here, I got it, and he like shoved me out of the way, and I was
doesn't even
like,
know he
I looked at
does it.
Chamie, and I was like, I think I just came over to watch,
Yeah, for sure.
because I don't really know how to make strawberry jam.
And now
still.
we've made everyone in the family do it. So all the siblings, spouses are all.
Yeah.
We all have identified what animal they are, and it sounds so corny and funny, but man, it's been so helpful for me, not just in the relationships within our family, but even at work. When I was working at one of the jobs that I had, it was kind of a joke. Every time somebody would come in, I would be able to guess after just dealing with them for a little bit what they were, and they would take the test like, how do you know?
How
And
did
it's
you
like,
know?
once
You
you
know.
see it, you
can't
can't see
unsee
it.
it.
For
What-
sure.
Omar, you're a lion, and you originally lion beaver, and now your otter has like rised up.
Okay.
I feel like
Whatever you
he's
say.
really beaver. Look at his like
Daily
all the
wins.
things he does.
Yeah.
That's very like.
What
he
do
does
you
the
think?
same
I mean, you
thing
guys know better
everywhere.
than me. I don't really know. I mean, I've taken the test
You
once a
know
long
you
time
better
ago.
than
No,
but-
you took it twice. The first time you took it was lion beaver, and then I think a few years ago I had you take it again, and
Yeah.
your otter and beaver were almost even. I
Oh,
said it's because
okay.
I rubbed off on him. He's a
Whatever.
little more social.
Well, I
and
do think
distracted.
it changes over time. Like
Yeah.
And it
since
does.
I've become a mom, I definitely have way more otter traits, which is like weird
Yeah.
because that's just not how I'm
you are.
built. I'm
Yeah.
still very like I have a list of what I need to have prepared for
Yeah.
this podcast.
For sure.
And I left it, so I rebuilt the list.
That's the beaver.
No,
That's the beaver.
Let me
For
tell you
sure.
something. It's very beneficial to vacation with beavers because
Yes, we plan everything.
They
They
plan
have the
everything.
list.
They have the list, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Go to Sprouts, grab a couple things. It'll be fine.
Yeah, like a great example of like how like my beaver comes out is that sounds so dirty.
Listen.
It does sound
I
a
was
little
going to
dirty,
say
I
the beaver is showing
Yeah.
is always something that.
But
That's
it's like
funny.
whenever we have like holidays, like Thanksgiving, like I always send like the list of like, here's what we made last year. We can change it, but here's the list of what you guys have. I keep all these lists.
Yeah.
And I'll plan everything. Or like if we're doing some type of gathering, I'm like, so here's the idea for the food.
Right.
And I list everything out.
Packing lists.
And it makes, packing lists, like it makes my life so much easier. And
Yeah.
also
If
it
it's
makes
not
a
on
lot
the
of
list,
people's lives
You're right.
very
You're right.
easy.
People
if it's
need
not
beavers
on
in
the
their
list
life.
and you did it, you add it to the list so you can
1,000%.
cross it
I
off.
do that every day.
That's so funny. But I think it is such a
So
beneficial
nice.
thing because there's almost something that takes maybe somebody's actions or personality type. And when you elevate out of it and you
Yeah.
do a personality, whether it's that personality or the Enneagram, I don't understand the Enneagram, but I'm going to. That's like a goal of mine is to figure out what I am. But I think there is something to say, even though they seem a little corny or overused, where it doesn't make it feel personal when somebody has the traits that they have. So maybe it's something that like you just don't understand because you don't operate that way. It helps you get out of that cycle with someone that you have a relationship with, whether it's family, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other. Those things that they do all the time, it's very easy to not elevate out and be like, well, why do they do that? And is it their personality? Maybe they always leave their clothes on the floor or something that's driving you nuts. I think when you can put some context to that, that doesn't feel so personal, it's so much easier to have grace and to love them for that quality rather than be annoyed by that quality. Yeah. Because like I said, we're all so different. And there's a reason I think our whole family still refers to each other as these names because
you could accept each other for
who
being
you
different
are.
or not being able to process something the way they do. You're like, hey, that's just her Beaver trait. Like, let her do her thing.
Yeah, I think that is like part of, I think that animal test and I think the love languages test really has helped not only our relationship, but it's helped our marriages. It's helped friendships. It's helped our family dynamics because you are able to, in a way, separate yourself from, if maybe you're frustrated about something or you're like, I don't understand why they do this or why are they like this. Yeah. If you're able to separate yourself and be like, oh, remember, they're this. Like, this is their love language. This is how they're going to feel love. Like, versus I'm trying to love them how I want to be loved. Right. So I think it helps you not only like navigate your personal relationships, it helps you navigate even your work relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, even if they don't tell you what they are, if you're able to pick up on what they are, it just helps you it helps you understand them so much more.
I think I was just going to say, I think that's kind of what changed and made it easier to be closer to, right? Because we got a better understanding of each other. We got a better understanding of what drives them and why they make those decisions. Because I remember being younger and not understanding, I don't know why they do that. It hurts my feelings or whatever, because that is who they are. It's not them trying to be mean. It's not intentional. It's just
she's referring to the lion side of Allie and I giving our opinions on why are you doing that, Gabby? They're just like, why are you trying to run my life? Oh, they're lions.
So just like Allie was saying, if you guys are struggling somewhere communication wise in your relationships and your marriages, check out the animal test, Enneagram tests, love languages. You gotta do it. I'm listening to this now and I'm like, bro, I'm from the hood. Like, people ain't doing none of these tests. Like, that's some white people stuff for sure.
It
but
totally is.
If you're struggling, they work, man.
Yeah,
like they said, just to give you a little bit of insight to how people process things, because it may not be the way that you process it.
Yeah, and I think, again, it takes things and makes it a little less personal and a little easier to digest the differences and also the things that you end up loving about them. The things that, like I'm obviously not a Beaver. If you've been around me for any period of time, it's pretty obvious that I'm not. And I think I used to, and I'm middle child. So then I'm sandwiched between two Beavers and then my dad's a Beaver. And so for me, it's like for the longest time, I would just be, I'm different. And I tend to set things down. I lose my phone. I lose drinks. I leave
you lose your phone
oven on,
like 27 times a day.
All of those things. and vice versa, where it's like, I would feel self-conscious about that because they weren't. And then just realizing that we're different and vice versa. The things, I mean, you laugh at me all the time for that stuff because it becomes this loving thing where it's like, that's just who they are.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
It makes it
For
acceptable.
sure. You just accept it.
Totally.
Yep, you're right. So I want to ask you guys a couple questions real quick about Aubi.
Okay.
Did she turn out at all like you thought she would, like growing up with her?
No.
No?
For me, I think Aubi started out how I thought she was going to turn out, like very career driven, very like
how would you describe me though as a
goal-oriented.
kid? Like, what was your perception?
I have a really hard time remembering stuff like that, but I don't feel like you were like emotional as a
She's
kid.
the leader of the pack. That's like what comes
for
to
sure.
like my.
That's funny.
You were very lion as like a kid, for sure.
Gabby and I used to play Barbies, and you know how it would go? She would hold the Barbie, and I would be like, we're going to the mall. Now you say this.
She was the director.
No, you say this.
She was a director like
pretty
way
accurate.
before she. Yeah,
Exactly.
Director of Barbies.
Thank you for loving me.
all day.
Is there anything about her that surprised you guys?
I think it's like how sentimental and emotional you are. Like Aubi is very sentimental to where like I have to be like, I have to open my heart a little bit because
for sure.
I'm like, yeah, that is really sweet. And she'll just go real in depth on stuff. And I'm like, am I heartless? Like, but she's just really sentimental, which actually has rubbed off on me to make me realize and like be more sentimental about things.
Yeah.
So that's actually shocking to me. And
Yeah,
I
like
think,
Aubi has a hard shell.
Yeah.
For sure.
yeah.
She's
Totally.
intimidating. She's beautiful. She's strong. And then you're like,
Yeah,
on
if
the
you don't
inside,
know her deep down, she's
yeah.
a little
soft
sappy.
serve.
On the inside,
almost
she's
soft
Totally.
serve.
But on the outside,
Yeah.
like, call it like her, like you like have like a bro front.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, when needed.
Yeah.
When
Let's be
needed.
clear.
Yeah,
when
for sure.
needed.
And I think you like how you've embraced motherhood.
Yeah, that
Like,
was
I don't think I
mine.
ever really dreamed about anyone having kids other than Gabby.
Yeah. Well, because
But,
growing
like-
up, Gabby wanted to be
Yeah.
she wanted to be a mom. If you
That's
ask
what
Gab-
I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So the
Totally.
stay-at-home mom role, like
That's why
what
it's,
threw
that was
me.
shocking for me.
Yeah,
And you're
Like-
so good at it.
yeah.
Aw,
You are like
guys.
the little designs.
Oh,
I felt like when I
can't
would
keep up with it.
babysit like Raya, I had to like, if I was doing a waffle, I had to cut it into shapes or
Like, get a
something.
pencil or something. I started doing that for my kids, and I was like, this is too much.
Well,
And then that's the thing too, is Aubi would always be like, I'm not very artsy or creative. And I'm like,
She's
look at
so
you go.
creative.
You are so gifted in that
You
area.
can't claim that anymore.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
to be
You
fair,
can't.
too, growing up, I was definitely more of the big brother dynamic, I would
Yeah.
say. I mean, middle child for sure.
Yeah.
And for sure. But on top of that, I was a little bit of the big brother. I was very, very protective. And so if anyone, I mean, I always say this, and I say this to this day, it's like, you can say whatever you want about me, and I don't care. Like, it might hurt my feelings, but I'm not coming after you. You come from my family, I will take my hoops out.
Yeah.
The healing might have stopped at that point because there is no one I would go to war for faster than my sisters, to the point that I was like literally trying to fight guys in high school that were mean to Gabby, or if someone was mean to Allie, like I would shred them. And to this day, I still have that like
You have that inside
big
you.
brother energy towards them. And I definitely had that tough outer shell. And I think sometimes people are a little surprised because I'm a soft serve, but I do have that spice in me if
Yeah,
you
Totally.
take my
do.
hoops out.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Get to some obsession of the week. Ladies first. Who wants to go first?
Mine's weird.
Give
So
it to us. We like
my
weird.
obsession is something that I'm not allowed to have right now. But I have not stopped thinking about animal style fries with chopped chilies on them. But I can't have them right now.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad.
That
but
is kinda
it's my
sad.
obsession.
Usually we want something we can't have. That
I
usually works
know.
that way. That sounds pretty bomb. I never
Ooh,
had it with
the
chopped
chopped
chili.
chilies.
I
That's the
have chopped
move.
chilies in my house. I made the most amazing animal style burger.
Yeah, that
With,
sounds
like
bomb.
without carbs.
All right.
It's so
I like
good.
I dig it. I
Yeah,
dig it.
there you go.
What
Go
you
try
got,
it.
Gabby?
So the one thing that I bring from my dad's side of the family, from our Mormon roots, is my obsession for a dirty soda.
Ah,
I love a
I
dirty
was like,
soda.
doesn't even know
Yeah,
what
what's
that
a dirty
is.
soda?
So a dirty soda is basically soda that has,
so
I
dirty.
mean,
Dirty
is
for
what
a
it
It's so
is.
funny because if you guys know my sisters,
Hold
they're
on,
both like
wait.
the most
What was
prude
it?
people, but it's like everything is sound dirty on this podcast, like
know.
Beaver and dirty soda.
Wait,
It's
what's
so
a dirty
funny.
soda?
So dirty soda has like syrups or creams or different things.
It's
in it.
almost like an
Like a bunch-
Italian soda,
It
right?
An
is,
Italian
and that's
soda.
I think where
Like
it
a bunch of
comes
different
from.
flavors?
No.
Yeah. So like, okay, so the obsession is there's this spot on Fort Apache, and then they have a secondary location on Rainbow.
shout 'em
Shout
out,
out
shout 'em out.
shout out to Crave.
There you go.
So they also have cookies, but the one that I get Diet Dr Pepper with coconut cream and blended
Sounds so good.
raspberry. Oh, it's
That's not my jam.
I can't
It
do
wasn't
it.
even
I
my
can't
jam.
do
It was
it.
like
Well,
a
you
kid.
guys don't do soda, but
I like
like
my stuff separate.
so good.
Yeah, it's just
That
like,
is funny
And when you
though.
add
It's
cream to
been-
a soda.
Crave's been smacking lately. It has just been so good.
loves her
Like,
dirty soda.
I do,
That's
man.
so funny.
And I always feel
So
like I have to
cheesy.
hide it around all the gym peeps. I'm like,
Oh, there's no
That's
shame.
hell.
I
It's
know.
all
That's
drinking
all it-
soda again.
again.
What you got, boo?
My obsession this week is NAB nail bar.
NAB nail bar, y'all.
Just got my nails
Check
done.
them
I don't know if you
things
can really
out.
see it.
Yeah, you can
but
see 'em.
it's like the one really girly thing I love to do for myself. And I mean, my sisters know we have on the sister group chat. I'm like,
Aubi
what should
sent us
I
so
get?
many
And there's like
things.
10 options. And I usually never even do the options that I send.
Nope,
but
she didn't.
I do love that I can go in there, and I always joke it's like the Pinterest nail salon. Every girl knows what it's like to go and like, whether it's a hairdresser or your nails, you're like, I'm just thinking something like this. And then you walk out and you're like, we clearly were not speaking the the same language on what we were dealing with. And that place,
It literally looks like the photo.
Yeah,
right?
exactly like
And most of them,
Exactly.
they look
Kill it.
better than the photo.
For sure.
Yeah.
So shout out to Asia and Lala and their whole team over there, because if you're looking to get your nails done, that's the spot number one. And number two, they last forever. I'm rough on my hands.
You do CrossFit.
Yeah, and my hands are very
things
manly
last
on
for
the
them.
other side, but I could go with my hard gel for 6 weeks, if not longer, if I wanted
Impressive.
to.
I love that
So
you do that for yourself.
it's like
Yeah.
my.
You got to.
I get
You
really,
gots
really
to.
excited. So shout out to NAB Nail Bar. I'm obsessed with them.
I would say for the past 5 weeks, my obsession of the week has been City Light Men's Small Group.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's a good
Tuesday
one.
night, man. I've been looking for something to grow in my faith a little bit more than just attending on Sundays. So when the small group came out, I was like, oh, yes, this is perfect timing. And I'm sad that it's coming to an end, but it's
I
been cool
know.
because Brian's been joining us. We've had like Nestor and Eric and, just been good networking and meeting people like God, like-minded people who are just
Yeah.
there and rooted in their faith and it's like another community for me, man. I think
Yeah.
community is so important. It's like, I'm so grateful to have, like, I got church community. I've got car community is
Yeah.
strange, but it's awesome. Like,
It's
people are super
amazing.
supportive, like in the car community. They got the gym community, family community. Like, if you don't have community, guys, I think that's
Yeah,
gonna
it
put
doesn't
you in
always
a
have to
hole.
be fitness. I know
Yeah, it
this
doesn't.
podcast, we always talk about that, but man, the value that happens around being like-minded people. And I can always feel you like charged up, and I get excited to have you come home and share like what you guys talked about and
Yeah,
what
for
you
sure.
learned and the connections that you've made. Like even if you're an hour past, like when it's over, I know it's because there's like chatting and connection
Yeah.
and picking up raw milk maybe afterwards too,
For sure.
before you come home,
Yeah,
pick
man,
up that
it's
contraband.
been transformative. So,
I love that.
yeah, shout out to City Light and the Men's Small Group on Tuesday nights.
That's right.
Gratitude.
That's
What
a-
you got? What you grateful for?
So I'm obviously grateful for God, but I'm grateful for the family that He's given me. So shout
Love
out
that.
to my hubby, Brian,
Hey.
Liam,
Liam.
little
Liam,
Liam,
shout out Liam. What's up,
Yemerson.
and shout out to my baby boy, Asher. Like
Yeah.
they're just all in like such a cool phase
Fun
right
phases.
now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's been so amazing to watch and just to be able to enjoy that, and that my husband's gotten to enjoy it this
Yeah.
go around has
I
been
love that.
phenomenal.
That's awesome.
That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Allie, what you got?
Not to be cheesy. I'm really grateful for my husband.
Mm.
I'm
What's up,
pregnant
Bryce?
with
Shout out to Bryce.
Spicy
Brycey.
Brycey.
Spicy Brycey.
Bicycle.
I'm pregnant with our third baby.
Hey!
And it's been a really rough, like I'm thankfully out of the first trimester, but it was the roughest pregnancy so far. And he was like a single parent for like
Yeah.
over a month. So he's
Yeah.
just been holding it down. And on top of that, like he's just been working his butt off to support our family.
Yeah.
I'm really thankful for him.
That's
Oh,
awesome,
I love
man.
that.
What you got, boo?
I'm not going to get emotional, but I am just super thankful that I have two best friends in you guys.
Mhm.
Like we've been through a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and in every season, you guys have loved me. You've accepted me. And I feel really blessed that we share that, because I know a lot of people that have gone through a lot of hurt by themselves, and I've never felt alone because you guys have always been there. And I'm thankful for the support. You guys have always been the biggest supporters and cheerleaders for me and and I get to raise my babies with you guys, and I love your babies, and I love your families, and I love your husbands. And I just feel really blessed. I'm so aware how blessed I am. And I'm so aware that this is one of the greatest seasons of our lives. And it's a bond that I don't take for granted. And I just am so thankful for you guys to come on and just be open and just always being on my side and my teammate, even when I was a little bit of a mess. You guys have always been there, and I just hope you know how much I love you.
We'd fight for you
Yeah.
all day.
I know.
Yeah, we will.
I
You
know.
always got to hit us with those
I'm
emotions.
sorry.
Huh, bro?
Almost getting
sentimental.
I know, man, because she's right. Like, I'm so grateful for you guys. You guys have been so supportive, like, through our entire journey. Like, you guys have been there and seen our ups and downs, and like see us go through the trenches and through the storms, and like to battle those things and not be alone, because you guys like kind of went through these phases of life together,
Yeah.
But to be as supportive as you guys have been of us in our bad, and to still be supportive of us in our good,
Yeah.
like through the gym and through our marriage and through the podcast, like how supportive you guys are, just to be able to like watch it and let us know your thoughts and comment on YouTube and to sponsor an episode. It's amazing. Like, I'm
Yeah.
truly blessed and grateful for
We
you
love
guys.
you, O.
Yeah.
And our
Thank you
babies
guys.
love you.
Oh my God.
they do.
Daddy
I
Cage.
love the
Daddy
kiddos.
Cage.
Yeah, man. They're my favorite. I love
Oh,
kids.
dude, they love you, man.
We love you, Ella, Luca, and little coffee bean.
Little
Luka
coffee
Duka,
bean.
Illa, little
Uriah and
Uriah and
Say-Say.
Sayla. We
Uriah
love you
and
guys.
Say-Say.
That wraps up episode 14, y'all. We had the Seasters on. We're so grateful for you guys. Tell them the good news, boo.
Just know that you're made with a purpose, on purpose, and we're so thankful that you spent an hour with us.
Yes, we are. Hands in, hands in. We gotta get our Fit Force, you know, whoop on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fit Force, you know, whoop.
I haven't done that in a while.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bringing it back.